how are we doing today? Party people!
You gotta do a little, brrr, you know, pre.
Now it works.
Yeah, just warm it up, you know. Let it all out. Let it all out. So here we are, live and direct at the Blue Martini in Brickell.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna ask you how you're feeling.
Oh.
Huh? Do you want to talk about it, or you don't want to talk about it?
I'm a little hungover. I'm a little hungover from last night's game, yesterday's game. Was it last night?
Hey, by the way, it wasn't last night. It was last day's party.
Yeah.
Because it was a breakfast party.
Yeah.
But shout outs to Colombia. They won.
Yes.
Big win.
You've been here in Brickell since yesterday because you just arrived. And here we are at Blue Martini, his second home.
There you go.
Right? This is your second home, man. We have a special guest, Joey Vega, man. That's a great name.
We haven't brought you guys over here yet because we wanted Joey to be the first person that we interviewed at Blue Martini.
Yes.
Being that he's the GM.
Nightlife Entrepreneur Podcast, party people.
Thank you for making it here, man.
Thank you.
Thank you
for having me.
For being with us.
All right, so every episode we start with our handles. Not love handles, but the Nightlife Entrepreneur.
Ico Taps Beer at Doral Food and Wine Festival.
What are
your handles?
Blue Martini Brickles, or I don't know if you want to give your own personal one.
No, Joey Vega. That's my name. Joey Vega at Blue Martini Lounge. Usually it's my email. Any contacts or anything. I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Sure.
Awesome. And then remember, nightlifeentrepreneurs.com/podcast, and you guys can find us on iTunes, Podomatic, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or whatever.
You guys have all areas covered.
Everything. You have everything.
I like it.
Every little corner. Find us, the Nightlife Entrepreneurs.
All right, so
let's talk about
today we have the pleasure of having Joey here. Joey is the GM at Blue Martini Brickell. You've been here for how long?
I've been here for about a year and 5 months now. A year and 6 months.
There you go. Well, I thought it was a little more for some reason.
How is it?
I love it. Yeah. I love the Brickell. I love the culture. I love the people in the Brickell area. I don't like the traffic much. The traffic. I don't like the traffic much, but it's great. It's great. It's a completely different beast than from the Kendall store, which I worked at before.
Right. So for you people listening from other areas, we get people all over. Not just in the U.S., but we have people in Australia, we have people in Canada, in the U.K. For those of you who don't know, Blue Martini is a big brand over here. It's a corporate kind of place. There's, I believe, 16 of you guys in the U.S.
Now 16 Blue Martinis.
We currently have 10 locations. We're working on the franchises now, and we're expanding that. We're going all the way up to Atlanta, California, LA. So we'll have some good ideas, and our corporate office has done a great job with meeting up with the right people and continue to expand our already reputable brand.
Are you guys in Orlando?
Yes, we are. We have a beautiful store in Orlando.
Tampa.
Yes, Tampa 1 closed. We're actually going through, we're looking at some sites over there to reopen that store because it is an anchor to who we are.
Right.
But the Orlando store is a beautiful store. It's a brand new store, and it brings a great crowd. Yes.
Okay, so now really if you're in the Orlando area, you want to jump into a Blue Martini parties, I'm telling you, they're great.
Right.
I love the vibe here at Blue Martini.
Thank you.
You know what? I actually got told by a client the other day at another venue, and we just started talking about Blue Martini, and that person said something to me that I was proud to be a part of in a way, being with them for 10 years. And he said, what I love about Blue Martini is the fact that every time we go there, we know exactly what we're gonna get. And that's so consistency.
Consistency is one of our biggest virtues. Consistency is something that we base ourselves on. All stores have their own little sauce and they differentiate in their way. But we try to keep it as consistent as possible because that's what keeps our guests coming back.
Yeah, this is a client that goes to both.
And is that when we talk about consistency, at what level is it? Is it always the drinks? Is it always the live entertainment? Is it the DJs? What would you say is kind of like a trademark of Blue Martini?
Well, when you talk about consistency, you want to start from the front door. Obviously, a lot of people forget the front door. The front door is the most important spot, in my opinion. Although the front door, there's not a lot of money being made in that sense. But when you walk in, the first thing you see is our door host. granted we don't call them security guards. We don't have security guards wearing security guard shirts. We have door hosts in nice suits. So that first encounter, that handshake, that eye contact, that smile, all the way to the front door hostess, which gives you the same the genuine welcome, the genuine hello, welcome, how are you, all the way to the bartender, to the waitress,
calling the locals by name, that kind of thing.
So that's what I mean by consistent. We are in the entertainment business, so we entertain, and that right there, that first impact. We walk into patio bar, and you see or you see the bartender. She has your drink in your hand, and she's ready to serve you. She's ready to take care of you. It's that level of consistency that we do from our glassware to the music levels, to our happy hour, to our transition, to the band. There's so much that goes into it.
The band. Yeah, you always got have great entertainment.
Yes. Transition 8 to 11.
So is there in Blue Martini like an artist director? Like who's in charge of picking the bands?
Oh, you want to tap dance?
Well, we have a company that we use. We're always doing our best we can. We have Danny Morris, which he's in charge of the bands and bringing the talent and making sure that we do have the top-notch bands. Obviously, some we have some newer bands, some older bands, and we really want to make sure.
Yeah, because you switch it up, which is good too.
Yes.
There's live music pretty much every day, no?
Live music every day except for Sundays and Mondays. Tuesday all the way to Saturday. Tuesdays are karaoke, then you have your Wednesday, your ladies' night. Thursdays, you guys already know what Thursdays are, Latin night, which we had the pleasure of working with these gentlemen for the last 10 years. We've done a phenomenal job. And Fridays and Saturdays we have the Weekend Warriors.
Hey, so where does the name Joey Vega come from? Because that's a nightlife.
Joey Vega,
name, right? Go to Joey Vega's club, man.
Well, a long time. Well, not my club. It's a lot of guys more important than me, and just doing the best I can to take care of the money and put on a great show and lead by the examples that they put. My actual name isn't Joey. My actual name is Joey Noel. I was born and raised in Cuba till I was 8. It's my name consists of my mother's name and my father's name. It's very, very difficult. So it's a little difficult. So during middle school and going into high school, I realized that, wait a second, nobody can pronounce this damn name. We have a problem. So, what do I do? And obviously, Joey Noel, Joey Short, came with Joey. I could have gone with Joel. I could have gone with Joe. For some reason, I went with Joey. It stuck. Everybody confuses me for Italian. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I'm not Italian. I'm very proud of my heritage, but I'm Cuban. But that's how it is. So it sounds cool, but it's not really. Just don't tell anybody. Shh. Don't tell anybody.
Nobody's going to listen.
Hey, but no, because it definitely has a nightlife.
Yeah, and it has that Italian thing. I feel jazz club in New York. Underground.
That's awesome.
I'll take it.
Hey, there's one thing I wanted to ask before we get into the main subject of the day, which is is going to be knowing exactly what the GM wants. That's what we're going to get into later. But the first thing I wanted to know is, what is the main difference as a GM to work for a regular, club, boutique club, whatever you want to call it, versus working for a franchise like this one, so corporate level?
I've had the pleasure of working for this great company, for about 7.5 years now, going back to Kendall. I've been at this store for about 1 year and 6 months, like I mentioned earlier. This was my first nightlife entertainment job, per se. Okay. So the corporate structure is the only way that I've worked. Now, I've helped a lot of colleagues in other venues throughout Wynwood, throughout Brickell, throughout the beach, and I've made some great contacts. Now, as far as working for the Blue Martini, I fell in love with the company since the first day I started working. What it is, from the core sets to everything that goes into what the Blue Martini is, and it's basically it's a formula that when you talk about bars, you talk about anywhere from a 2 to 3 life year span.
Right.
That's what you're speaking about. Here we are, the Brickell location, sitting on 10, going on 11 years, and some stores like the West Palm store, 15, 16 years. Right. Was
this the first club, say, party place to go to in Brickell when Brickell began?
You've been here much longer than I have.
No, pretty much. There was a few things around here before that tried making something happen. But when Blue Martini arrived here, it kind of became like, okay, now that's the spot we want to start.
Yeah, right. And they were like the trendsetters. Like from here, everyone. Sure. It's funny. Like I remember when you invited me to Blue Martini for the first time, I heard how good it was and how it was popping, and I had no clue where it was, right? And it was like, and it was when like Brickell started, you know, kind of like becoming popular. Yeah. And I remember I GPS'd it, and boom, and I came here, and oh man, I had a great time.
Good.
So definitely, so Blue Martini has like a formula that they have figured out a way to make it work not only here but in Kendall, and this is the reason why are they a franchise? They're a franchise or no?
No franchise.
Oh wow.
No franchise. No franchise. Our CEO Mark Basu actually is. He's the one at the top. You have Brian Gardner, Director of Operations, Kyle Dorr, and Steve Day, our VP. But it's the same four guys.
Nice.
They're bar
They've done
guys.
a great job.
They've been in the industry for a very long time, and they've kind of put this together. And we've been very fortunate to have such great operators at different stores that have made us as successful as they are. You're talking about Las Vegas, Naples, Fort Lauderdale, Kendall here. And those guys have definitely done a great job, making sure that those stores are properly ran.
So what is the difference between being a general manager at a regular, club? Would this be a club?
This would not be a club.
This would be like a lounge restaurant?
A bar lounge.
A bar lounge, okay. So what is the difference between a bar lounge and a Blue Martini? That's
a great thing.
Monster.
That's a great thing about what we are. We were never a club. We were never a lounge. We were never a bar. It was more. We were a hybrid of. And back then there was nothing like us. And that's why we've been successful for the years that we've been successful. We're very grateful and very blessed for that. But nowhere do you have a patio bar. You have a VIP bar. You have a stage bar. Where it's just all different demographics. Different age, a lot of age variations, stuff like that. So, and that really, impacts our operation throughout the day.
Got it.
Because the patio people are always going to be patio people. They're always going to hang on the patio. It's the locals, the regulars. They love the patio. They love the ambiance. They love seeing the regulars. The club people are going to be the club people. We have our stage. We have a magnificent light show. We have the best sound, the best sound system possible. Those are people who want to go out and who want to party, who want to take shots and get the bottle service. And then we have the VIP where it's more of a hang out, let's chill, let's have a conversation, have a cocktail, maybe a bottle of champagne or something like that. And that's what we have. So we cater to so many different areas.
It's almost like a 360, man.
Yep.
And you said it. I think that's one of the reasons why they have been successful, because they are kind of like making those people that love a patio, catching that target audience, and then you have those people that just come here to warm up the dance floor, and they just come and dance and party, and that's what they like to do.
Right.
And then you have the bar, and you also have great food, right?
Yes. We have a great select menu.
That's one of the things that people don't know about this place is how good the food is.
Yeah. It's funny. I've eaten here, and the food is amazing.
Yeah. The food is delicious. The food, big pops, Leo. Yeah. Leo, if you're listening, that's our executive chef, Leo.
Chef.
Yes, we have a great menu that goes, a lot of hard work goes into it. And what we do is we keep it nice and small, just because we want to make sure that it's perfected. Rather than have so many options and so many, why mess that up? But in a sense, you focus on your forte, you focus on the things, and you're able to get it out. And awesome. At the end of the day, it's one more option they have while they're drinking.
Right. All right. So let's get into the subject I mentioned before, which is, what does the GM want? I wanna get a little into your mind.
What does the GM want?
I don't want you to talk for all other GMs, but for yourself.
Okay.
As to what that is in different areas, in different aspects. One of them being, let's say, somebody's gonna apply for a job, and let's say they're you mentioned the doors being something important. So let's say they're applying to be a hostess, which is one of the first people that you get to see at the venue. Yeah. What does somebody like Joey, the GM, want from that person that comes to apply? What do they want to see?
Well, we can get into the subject, and we'll be speaking for days. So I'm going to kind of, focus on the front door and the hostess, like you said. Okay. The first thing as a general manager, as a manager, or anybody who deals with any of the hiring process, you have to understand the different departments and what those departments needs. The age group that you're dealing with those departments for the particular reason. At the front door, a hostess. When you say a hostess, what does a hostess do? A hostess is, hi guys, welcome to the Blue Martini, whether find a seat or a $10 cover, whatever it might be. So you have to understand that it's going to be usually a younger girl, usually 18, 19, 20. So what do they have? Well, they go to school. School is the most important thing. So I think as a GM, I try to teach my managers, the most important thing is understanding what the employee's needs are. So if a young lady comes in and she's like, well, you go to school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or whatnot, I can only work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We work around that schedule. Obviously, school being as important as it is, and we're able to fix that. Now, what do we look for? Obviously, smile and eye contact is very, very important.
Right.
They have to be bubbly. They have to be nice. They have to. We're in the entertainment business, so it really doesn't matter who's having a bad day. We have to put on the show, exactly. Like I say. So there's the room for error, especially at the front door, is very, very important. So I think a bubbly personality, an outgoing personality, is definitely something that I would look for in a hostess.
Could you ever get into trouble when it comes to hiring because of the fact that you might not look into somebody that's a little older, that they come and apply and it might not interest you, but it might be something like somebody feels like...
We focus on the personality. That's really what we focus on. There's really no age limit. It could be from a 18, 19-year-old lady all the way to a 35, 40. It makes no difference. What we focus on is obviously the personality aspect of it. But for that position, based on the hours that are possibly provided, usually what we get is the younger 18, 19, because they go to school, they have another job, and it's very simple.
So I've been doing this for 20-something years, and for me, one of the important things about the person that we have or the club has, or venue, bar, wherever it is, at the front door, one of the important things, even though we don't say it much, is looks. For us,
she has to be slamming.
Yes, the smile and all those things is one thing.
Beautiful, yeah.
But for us, we tend to go a little more nightlife than what Blue Martini is, as a brand. Meaning, when it gets more into the night, the looks become more and more important, probably than like even if you're like if you're talking about a restaurant, and the hostess you have at the restaurant, sometimes it's somebody depending on the type of restaurant, more elegant, X type look, that you want for the venue. Maybe thinking of the quality of the crowd you want to get, you want that kind of person in the front somehow. But when it comes to something as corporate as Blue Martini, I wonder, the same way I asked about the age, looks something that you cannot base it on.
Well, we definitely we try to hire the best. Obviously, the looks are very, very important. We try to hire the most beautiful girls, the most beautiful guys, and we really try to focus on their traits. Obviously, bringing out the best in them. A young lady might come in here wearing no makeup whatsoever, and do some makeup, do your hair, kind of that, and it really changes, the way she looks. So obviously, I don't want to say we base it completely on looks. But obviously it's an entertainment business.
And I'm sure if you find the opportunity, and maybe she doesn't have the looks, or maybe she does even have the looks, you might find something or see something in her where, let me not put her at the door, let me put her somewhere else. Do you give them other opportunities, even just based on what you feel she's talented on, or is that something that they have to be the ones to take initiative? And this is just for anyone who's listening.
We allow them obviously once they come in. Experience is a big factor. Whether their comfort level is a big factor as well. Some girls don't feel comfortable walking through the crowd. So there's bartender positions, there's hostess positions.
You were mentioning the hostess. When it comes to experience, which positions are the ones that you are a little more like, okay, I need more experience in this?
Bartenders. Bartenders definitely need to have an understanding or an idea.
It's alive. Sorry.
Bartenders is definitely one of the you definitely need the experience, just because it's not easy. It's not easy. You're making a drink. How difficult could it be? Considering our select cocktail menu.
How do you deal with right now having that hostess in the door and being young, bubbly? So you find the bubbly young girl, but she's on her phone. She is that?
We don't allow phones.
You don't allow phones.
No phones.
Okay, so
it's a problem for millennials.
Yes.
It's definitely a problem for
millennials like us.
Absolutely. And don't get me wrong, it happens, and obviously there's ways to go about it. How I see it is, if a girl has an emergency, then by all means we'll pull her aside. Hey, make the call you have to make. Take the time you need. But when you're constantly on your phone, checking your Instagram or doing, then something that obviously we'll address, and we'll fix it. Eventually we'll fix it.
Okay, that's good to know. So, hey, there you go. If you're gonna come to Blue Martini for a hostess job, leave your phone in your bag, okay? Don't because nowadays there's some millennials that while they're interviewing, they're actually texting.
You'd be surprised.
So they're like, hey, I'm sorry.
You'd be surprised. We've had that happen. It vibrates, and then kind of look over, and they pick up the phone to look at it, and we're like, wait a second. Huh? Okay. Well, I guess it wasn't
if it's happening now, imagine later.
Yes.
So tell me about being a GM in a place like this, so big. The hours here are crazy. Like, and you seem to be into fitness. So is it like is it hard for you as far as like your training? Your work schedule? Are they long hours? Are you guys getting out of here at like 5 a.m? How do you balance it all out? As far as like being a GM for any person who's looking out there, who we might have a listener right now in Orlando who said, you know what, let me go apply at Blue Martini as a general manager. Give them an idea of how you balance it all out.
There's really two answers to that question. I'm going to get into it very briefly on both. There's in our last conference, our corporate conference, the GMs kind of attended, and we had our meeting, getting ready for the year, setting budgets and what we're looking for that we do every year. I actually brought out I said we don't have a 9 to 5. We have a 24/7, which basically means my phone is on call 24/7. There is not a day, whether it be during the day, dealing with promotions, meeting with promoters, meeting with interviews, spirits.
So it's day and night,
and nighttime. And now the second part of that answer, I'm very fortunate to have the team that I have. I'm very fortunate to have the management team that I have, that are on top of the departments, that do a phenomenal job. I couldn't thank them enough, which allows me to leave at 3:30, 4:15 in the morning while they close down the shop. Really, without them, it wouldn't be possible. Right. So I've been fortunate enough to have a great team. That takes care of business in my absence. But for the most part, the answer to that is we don't have a 9 to 5. This is 24/7. And my phone is on call. There's not one time where I don't get back on my phone.
So is that like a key factor in being a successful GM? You have to make sure that everyone is kind of like taking care of their areas, and you kind of like you have to sometimes train them, but kind of put everyone to shine in their different areas for you to be able to focus on other things, like
absolutely.
Leading,
like the liquor, and that the liquor meeting with the promoters, meeting. What do GMs expect from promoters? This is the.
Why do you have to bring this up every time?
This is a Nightlife Entrepreneur Podcast.
We haven't had not one time has that question gone right.
Yeah. What when a promoter, we have a lot of promoters listening to us. What could you as a GM say? Hey, if you come to Blue Martini, you want to promote, you want to help us, help you or work together. What is something that Blue Martini is always looking for?
To answer the first question, my job as a GM, I have to represent my brand as best as possible. That is my primary job. Everything else pretty much comes second. Representing the brand that my partners have worked so difficult to build is my number one priority, and I'm by the book when it comes to that, just because the formula has worked for so many years. The formula works. The formula is right. So what I try to focus on is to represent that brand as best as possible. The way I compose myself, the way I carry myself, the way I look. Believe it or not, I'm a little white. I am a little white right now. I need a tan, but I'll get around to it.
He's been working.
But it's representing the brand to its full potential.
We'll have production fix it.
Yes. So
production.
And to answer the second question, as far as the management team and what they're in control and what they are, it's part of growth. It's part as an operator. You have to find the good ones. You have to find the good ones. We deal in a business where there's a lot of colorful personalities, as we call them, just because it's the nightlife. It's my job to make sure to find the right ones who have the potential to continue growing. I was fortunate enough to work for an operator which saw that potential in me, and he brought the best. He brought the best out of me.
Shout outs to Brickell.
Shout outs to Brickell Sanchez. I definitely took.
Shout out
over there at the Kendall store, and he saw that potential in me, and he gave me the opportunity to make something and continue and grow.
You started in security, no?
I started as a security guard.
Wow.
We don't call him security guard. We call him door host.
Right.
I started as a door host. The first 6 months, I was a door host. I worked at security. I was then head of security. I then took over the cocktail department.
Hence the size.
I went to the beverage department, and then I went to assistant general manager for Brickell, as he oversaw Brickell and Kendall. And then I was fortunate enough to be general manager of the Kendall store, which is my home. I love that store. And now here we are, a few years later. So you have to be able to see that growth in someone and see that commitment. You have to commit to those who commit to you.
For sure.
Best managers I've ever seen always come from somewhere.
Yeah,
from the bottom. You know what I mean?
Well,
not just start there.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the time is you grow from within, and that's something that we believe in. That we believe in, and we promote from within.
Right.
So the hostesses become waitresses. The waitresses become bartenders. The bartenders.
Joey, you mentioned a little while back you used to work my partners when you mentioned Blue Martini. I think you guys is the way you guys have it is the GM becomes kind of an operator / you're a partner in a way in the.
If you're fortunate enough, when I say partners, I mean our founders.
Okay.
I mean our founders. That's
right.
That's what I'm referring to. We do have some operations, some store.
Okay.
I'm not an operator. I'm a general manager for the store.
Yet
comes with time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's.
I mean, it's something to look up to when you are building from within.
That's the great thing about these guys, that there's always an opportunity, and always possibility to continue to grow.
Yeah, and I think the base is what you just said: believing in the brand and making sure that the brand comes first all the time.
It's that.
I mean, we've learned from this brand a lot for sure. Like, this is the most corporate account we've had. In the 20-something years we've been in the business, this is the one place where the check is here every time when we arrive. Even if he's not, the check will be there, ready.
We don't lie to our friends. We don't lie to our friends, and we don't bounce checks. That's something that somebody taught me. That's something that I stuck by, as 100%.
Hey, so if there's a young entrepreneur listening to us today, and they want to become a GM, what is a tip that you could give that person? He's never done it. Do you tell, what's a tip? Any tip? Well, maybe it's telling him, hey, you need to start from the bottom.
It's like a battery. It's like a phone. You have 100%. And every day you have 100%. I think the best advice I can give anybody, not just to be a GM, to be a manager, to be a security, to be whatever you want to be, you have to give your max effort. You have to give your maximum performance to whatever it is that you're doing. So if you're a VIP host, make sure that you're the best VIP host possible. If you are a dishwasher, make sure that you are the best dishwasher possible. Yes. And I can assure you that there's always somebody watching. Don't impress other people, impress yourself. Because if you impress yourself, you leave this building knowing that, regardless of what anybody says, I impress myself. Just make sure that your standards are high, and you set the bar high, because if you walk out impressing yourself, there's really nobody else that you need to impress.
Right.
There you go.
And that, I think, that's worked for me. So,
good tip.
Yeah.
Going back to what the GM wants.
I'm going to answer that promoter question, by the way. You're not off the hook.
Oh, wait. You know what? Leave you to that. There you go.
So you said that it hasn't gone right. It's the promoter. It's commitment. Commitment. It's commitment. And what do I mean by commitment? Not every day is going to be good. Not every week is going to be good. Not every month is going to be good. Not every period is going to be good. There's going to be some good. There's going to be some bad. It's understanding these trends. It's understanding this roller coaster of a business that we're in, that brings in the best numbers. And when I say commitment, I say committing to sticking to something and seeing it all the way through. Not just, well, I'm here today, I'm here tomorrow, I'm here today. It's a continued commitment to the brand and to the venue.
So from promoters, that's what you expect. You expect commit to working with us and living each season, the ups and downs.
Absolutely. Right. These guys committed to us 10 years ago.
Yeah, we've been here 10 years. One thing that I can tell you that we've done a little differently here than other places is that we completely abide by the rules. You know what I mean? Like,
got it.
Because a lot of the times when it's a smaller kind of business, that we are the ones trying to help them grow.
Exactly.
Over here, they're built. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You're actually taking tips.
Exactly. We are learning from them, and some of the things that they do might not be what we do at other venues, in the ways of promoting and the types of things that we might be doing. Whatever it is, you know, we just abide by the rules. If they say this much budget is what we can afford because this is what has to be spent on, let's say, production on music, let's say a live band, which is something they do a lot here, we'll do. This is actually the only venue that we have a different type of deal than any other venue, and the deal that we have here is something that they studied, because these 4 guys up there are, you know, kind of go up there like
not up there. Not up there. Somewhere skiing somewhere.
Exactly. You know, are looking only at numbers and percentages, and you know, and is this going up and not down, and comparing last year to this year. I love the fact that these guys post numbers, you know, in the kitchen, you know, and it's the one place where we go to the kitchen every hour, see, all right, we went up, we're just, you know, we're under last week, or we gotta see what we do to crank up.
Absolutely.
I love the fact that everybody sees them, because everywhere else, you know what they're doing with the numbers?
Yeah, of course.
Just lying.
Yeah.
You know, they're just, and I'm not talking about lying to us about what we're gonna get paid, because we do get them directly from the computers or whatnot, the system, even though that can be fixed. But for staff, for everybody to get pumped up, and you know, it's a whole thing about we are doing this together and we want to raise those numbers. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a team effort.
Hey, that's a good a tip for anyone out there who's opening up a lounge or a bar or anything. You know,
be open about your numbers.
Be open about your numbers, because that definitely works.
Well, you get the team. You get the team behind you. Yeah, you get the team behind you. You know, when you see certain guys, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been back there getting the hourly sales, and you'll have a bar back come to you and be like, hey, how we looking? Are we good? I know Patty, and that right there means, you know, the formula of what we're doing, they're behind it. Yeah. They're behind it, so they get behind it. Hey, what's going on? Why are we down? Why are we up? You know, we're gonna, you know, don't worry, we're gonna next time. We have a big event coming up. But
and you're comparing to two things: to last year's numbers, and you're comparing to last week's or the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're always, you know, making sure
you're
that
always in the battle.
Awesome.
So that answered the question, and this time it didn't go that bad. Going back to what the GM wants, one of the you mentioned you started like Berto saw something in you at the Kendall location, and now you're here. The guys that you have working with you currently, I understand this is a team that you built pretty much, mostly. What do you want from those people, those guys, the ones that are pretty much the Blue Martini face when you're not around?
Well, there's a saying that goes, you're going to be judged in your absence. You're going to be judged in your absence. Funny enough, last week I was out for a week for medical reasons, and I had the team stepped up. And did a phenomenal job. Now, what do I want from them? I want to be able to teach them something every day. I want to be able to give them goals, and them achieving those goals. Me knowing that those goals could be achievable, not giving them something that's unachievable. I want to see them every day on a daily basis, on a nightly basis in our situation, coming in hungry to accomplish something. Right. What can we bring? In this business, it's not the same thing every day. There's always something going on. It's always something different. A situation is different. Yeah. It's like a barber. You know, when you go in, you get a haircut after 2, 3, 4 years. You've done every single haircut. Right. You might get a weird request every now and then. But in our business, it's completely. I have no option, so you're good. In our case, it's completely different. It's never the same. It's always so we're always adapting. We're doing the best we can to adapt. So I think a level-headed manager is something that definitely the same personality coming in and coming out. We definitely want a person who's always level-headed, whether he's having a bad day, a good day. So he's always going to be that calm, and he's going to make right decisions. So I think if I have to, put it on that, it's definitely level-headed to come in with a good attitude. Morale is definitely very important. We have to understand that my founders send me the message. Send the corporate office the message. The corporate office sends it to the GMs. The GMs, we send it to our managers. The managers sends it over to the employees. Right. And the employees send it over to the guests. So it's our job to maintain that passion. By the way, that comes from the top.
When we come to work, we know exactly what kind of email they got.
Oh yeah, you can tell. The vibe. Hey, so what has been? Have you ever had an experience in this industry where you felt like it's done? You're done with it.
Time to give up.
Yeah, time to give up. But a bad experience, anything like that.
I'm a type of person who I've always told myself, if I'm not happy doing something, I'll stop doing it, regardless of what happens or what comes out of it or the consequences or whatnot.
That should be everybody's rule.
If I'm not happy doing something, I'm not gonna do it. Obviously, I would have ventured off into something else. I love the company that I work for. I love the guys that I do it for. I love the brand, and I really enjoy coming in. I really enjoy doing what I do. I really enjoy the entertainment business. So to answer the question, no, absolutely not. There's not one day where I'm driving over to work and tell myself, oh my God, not this again. And the other, I'm walking. I'm driving here. It's a 40-minute drive. It's a little far for me. Just thinking of what we could do today, what we could accomplish, how the weather is, what can we change, what do we have control over, and really, that's been at least my take, and it's never been a day where I go in there, and oh my God, here we go again, the same stuff over and over. It's never been that, because again, it's always different. It's always something going on.
Do you take care of all the firing, or do you delegate it?
Well, human resources, right? I'm assuming you have.
We have our department heads, which I like to give them the control of their departments. Okay. Obviously, overseen by me, making sure that we're making the best decision. Giving the employees the benefit of the doubt. Obviously, if we fire everybody for doing something incorrectly or doing something wrong, we don't give that person the opportunity to blossom. We don't give that person the opportunity to grow, whether it be here, whether it be somewhere else.
And there's obviously a lot of room to grow here.
Absolutely. Yeah. We call it coaching. We call it coaching. It's actually one of the things that I brought up at the manager meeting today. When's the last time you took 5 minutes to coach someone? When's the last time you took 5 minutes to pull someone aside and tell them what they're doing good rather than what they're doing bad?
That is what this is all about, by the way. I mean, that's the only reason this
coaching
podcast was created, is for that. Want to make sure we help as many people as we can.
And young leaders.
And there's nothing out there. I mean, you pointed out in your book that when you come, there's no course that you can take, in college, or that you can, that shows you how to do this. It's all experience. Right. I didn't have anybody kind of tell me exactly this is how it's done. This is how it's no, it's my experience. Right. The person who taught me, obviously taught me after making the mistakes that he made. So I'm going to teach the person under me, the person under the same thing after the mistakes that I've made. So hopefully, the person after me is going to be better than me. That's what we want. We want them to be better.
So you started as a security, and you were working. How many years as a security guard?
I did 6 months as a security. I did about a year and a half as head of security.
Okay, so did this GM position kind of like, well, not the GM, your position at Blue Martini and Kendall, when you started seeing yourself growing there?
Yes.
Was it something that you were just going with the flow, and you were like, wow, look, I'm good at this, and I'm just gonna go with it, or was this something that you were always interested in being a part of?
Well, funny enough you mentioned that. I always wanted to throw a big event. I always wanted to throw kind of a festival, whether it be an ultra, whether it be one of the electric days. I've always been something that I've always dreamed about, and hopefully one day I'll get around to it. In this business, it was more of a monetary, issue, and I kind of came in as a security guard. A friend kind of, hey, you know what? I think they're hiring over there.
By the way, he produces the Doral Food and Wine.
Very nice. Yes. Very nice.
Big yeah. I'm like, you can come help us out with it.
Very nice. I'm definitely interested. Absolutely. And a buddy of mine actually, he worked at the location. Hey man, I think they're hiring. And I was like, you know what? At this point, I'm gonna go. I did real estate for 6 years. I was in the real estate market. The market obviously went through all the troubles they had, and it crashed. So I was kind of forced to kind of get out of that, and obviously I needed a source of income. And I kind of went in there, did security. The first few weeks were tough. You couldn't move. You were literally standing. So my feet were on fire.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And then I wasn't used to it. And then after that, I think I was really excited when I became head of security. When I had the opportunity to make an impact on that department and to be like, all right, guys, let's do this. And when it started working, and then I was cocktail, and I made changes to that department, and those and it worked. The sales came up, the service came up. That's when I really started enjoying what I do. When you had control of making some changes, approved obviously, but those changes worked. So you're like, wait a second,
And I give a shout out and big ups to the people from Blue Martini who identified it. Those people who identified that you were making those changes and that you were, creating, changing something on a positive note, I think that's awesome, because sometimes corporate companies could overlook that. They won't notice.
Well, that's the good thing about these guys having the right pieces in the right places. Like I said, they've been very smart about where they put their operators, and they have great operators across the board in every single store.
Right.
And those operators is really in the position that I am in right now. It's to find those employees, to find those people who have the potential to continue to grow and have a positive take on what
the ones that have also the potential that when they get to that level you want them to get to, or your level or higher or whatever it may be, they also have the eye for the new guy that they're going to help. That's that's ideal. And mentioning Berto one more time, who was this guy's
you guys
mentor, what the word is.
You guys worked with Berto for a very long time.
For a long time.
So you guys know.
He opened the doors here, but at the same time, we learned from him, as we do from him, a lot of things that we apply in the business.
Awesome.
For sure.
That's awesome. Hey, and let me ask you. So, what did you share a bad experience or no? You ever had a bad experience that ever made you say, you know what, I'm going to quit this nightlife?
Well, you always have bad experiences. Obviously, at first it was difficult for me because I come from an office. I come from an office, from a cubicle, dealing with banks all day, dealing with realtors all day. So it was a big difference for me at first. And the drinking, I'm not a drinker, I'm not a smoker. So obviously that definitely took a toll on me at first. Because I don't have any bad habits in that sense, besides going to the gym and taking 3 scoops of pre-workout, but don't tell anyone. But
you heard it here.
But at first it was definitely one of those things that I get myself in the right place, and you look for other opportunities and other things out there. But I think after you set those aside, and that's always going to be bad experiences. There's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days. Yeah. You got to take the good with the bad. The good, the bad, the ugly. You got to evaluate those things, and it's something that if it's difficult, it only pushes me a little bit harder to fix it, or have an opportunity to fix it.
Okay.
Not everything's perfect.
Joey, what's the one thing, because I do want to dig back in your head and think about what the GM wants. What is the one thing that you would not like your employees to do, whatever position, anything? That's the main thing that you would go.
There's one thing that I don't want to use the word tolerate, but there's one thing that it's a big no-no. You just can't do it, and that it equals termination on site. It doesn't, and that's being rude to our guests. Okay. That is the one thing. We're in an entertainment business. We're here to put on a show. There is absolutely no room, and whether it be here, a restaurant, anywhere you go, and I think it should be the answer across the board.
And that goes for every position.
That goes for everything, every position, whether it be a manager, or whether the dishwasher, or whether the bathroom attendant, or whether the front door, to myself. Right. We deal with all the colorful personalities. People are here drinking, they're here enjoying themselves. Right. They're going to get a little out of line sometimes.
Because it's very probable that it happens to security. For sure.
Absolutely. It's our job to make sure that we handle the situation as best as possible. At the end of the day, we're the reason why they are in the state of mind that they are. Right. We invited them to our house. We're serving them drinks. Yeah. So we have to understand that and keep that in mind. So I think the one thing that as a GM, absolutely not, is rude. You cannot be rude, you cannot be disrespectful. Right. And you are the face of who we are. So it's very politely, I'm terribly sorry, sir. I'm terribly sorry, ma'am. Give me 1 second. Let me get you a manager.
Right.
And let us deal with that situation. Yes.
That's pretty.
I almost got kicked out of a venue yesterday.
Did you?
But that's another episode.
So what did you do?
Has to do with Colombia winning the game. And,
he got
Aguardiente Antioqueño.
Yeah, like the people
not a sponsor
of the
yet.
Table and dance. Or
here?
Yeah.
No. No. That's how we kicked them out. I'm just kidding. It wasn't here.
Apologies to anybody that was there on Sunday.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Well, did you at least have a good dance?
I had a great dance.
It was good?
I can't even finish my beer
there
today.
You go.
That's how bad I feel right now.
He usually drinks his cusqueñas pretty
like
quick.
water.
Yeah. So, hey, so you want to talk about the Night Father? You want to go into the Night Father?
Well, it is, at the end of every episode, we have a little segment that we call the Night Father. You're not a father right now, right?
I'm not.
Not that you know, at least.
No, not that I know that at least.
All right, so
hope to be pretty soon. Love kids.
Yeah, so we always talk about that and bring a little bit of the fact that Ico and I have 7 kids together.
Combined? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Combined.
How many did you carry?
I
it's with different people. Oh, I'm sorry.
it is something that interests us, because it is a business that for some reason a lot of people don't see that it goes with being a parent. They see it as something hard to be in this business and being able to be a good parent and all that. So is that one of the reasons why you're not a parent yet, or you just haven't
absolutely
gone there yet?
Absolutely, it definitely has. Takes its toll on you. Your personal life, I've given up a lot. I've given up a lot of my personal life. I've given up a lot of my social life. I've given up a lot of friendships. I've given up a lot of relationships because of this business. I mean, you said it yourself in the book how much you had to give up when you were first starting, and that's the rule of the book. Obviously, we work during the night. We sleep during the day. For the most part, I don't get much sleep, but. Has it affected? Absolutely has it affected. Yeah, right. Did I see myself at 31? That I need kids? Probably not. I saw myself starting early. I love kids, but it's difficult. Finding someone who understands the business that you're in. I mean, when I meet someone or I'm dating someone and I tell them, hey, I work here, automatically it's a red light. Right. Like, wow, wait a second. So you work with this girl and these girls and they're all hot and they're all pretty, and the girls and the dancers and the models and they don't see the other side. They don't see that it's just a business. That's exactly what it is. It's a business. It's a job.
So more than having children is a little bit more about the actual person who you're going to have the children with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where it gets complicated.
Absolutely, it's finding the person to settle down with and who understands what we do.
Understand.
Have you ever dated in the business?
Yeah, I have. Nobody in the stores, right? In the business, yes. And it's been a little bit easier. It's definitely been a little bit.
Do you
easier.
have any restrictions here as to that?
Blue Martini
people dating within?
Absolutely. Yeah. There's no dating within. Okay. There's no dating within. Unfortunately, we're in a position where things are going to happen. They're going to blossom, and we don't neglect that either. Obviously, we take our measures. Right. But it's going to happen. Some of the things that you see that person every single day for more hours than you probably at home. Things are bound to happen. So
you probably move them, switch them around. We don't move anything around. We don't change our operation. Obviously, we sit down with them. We let them know, hey man, this is what we have. We understand that these things happen. Just make sure that you keep it professional. And
if you want to know a little more about that subject, we talked about that in lots of specifics and went and digged in with Cata Fortich in that episode. Talked about relationships in the business. For sure.
But they definitely
it was 2 episodes back. So
but they definitely
check it out.
They definitely happen.
It happens. All right, so man, I think it's been a very educational episode.
Very educational episode.
And entertaining. This is how fast an hour goes when
it's quick.
In a conversation.
I thought it was 15. I thought we were 15, 20 minutes in.
Probably.
I wanted some more. That's all you guys got?
Right? But yeah, man, this is Joey V. Again, you can find him on Instagram as...
No Instagram.
There you go.
No Instagram.
Aren't you a millennial?
I am, but social media slows me down. Like I said, you got 100% of your day. 100% you got to focus on the things you want to focus on. There's no time for social media. There's no time for any of that.
Exactly.
Right. So we thank him very much. We are here at the Blue Martini today, where I will be this Thursday and every Thursday, and hope to see you.
Come dance
and
over
remember,
here.
Come find Joey any night, 7 days a week. Ico.
You can find me at Ico Taps Beer and at the Doral Food and Wine Festival.
And the Nightlife Entrepreneur and at LMG Miami. Follow our parties. Get the book on Amazon. Drink the beer at Publix and everywhere.
Thank you, Cusqueña. Yes.
Great book.
See you next week, guys.